So now if we all have understood the impact that our belief systems can create positively and negatively, it's now time for all of us to understand where do these beliefs come in from and how do we now change our blueprint. Our beliefs, of course, come in from what we speak. It also comes in from what we hear. It comes in from what we see. Our beliefs also come in from everything around in our environment, and our belief systems also come in from our past experiences. And past can be as old as it can get, maybe from the time you are born, and not only that, it can also come in from your intrauterine experiences, the time when you are in your mother's womb. And that's the only reason why pregnant ladies are asked to see, hear, speak, and think positive, because the blueprint starts getting created and impacted from that age itself. So let's look at all these areas and explore methods to change our blueprint. The first area is called as verbal programming. Verbal programming on its own can be divided in two parts. One, what you speak, and second, what you hear. Let's look at what you speak. Every word that we speak is a reflection of our own beliefs and has the potential to change our existing beliefs. So for example, if somebody says, relationships are very difficult to handle, or somebody says corporate life is absolutely tough. Now, through their words, they are not only reflecting their beliefs, but they are strengthening their existing beliefs. I'm not saying that one is lying. What they are definitely saying is their past experience. But what they don't understand is, if you continue saying the same thing, you are strengthening your blueprint in a negative way, and once that gets stronger, it will create future negative experiences. And hence, two things need to be done to program your blueprint through verbal programming and speaking. One, consciously catch yourself going wrong, especially when you talk about people and things who are very important in your life. And second, consciously speak positive about anything and everything or anyone and everyone who is important in your life. For example, majority of people, you ask them, how's life? What kind of responses would you get? Majority of people would say, it's going on. It's as usual. Now what are they doing? Every time they respond in this way, they are not just reflecting what's happening in their life. They are in fact reinforcing their existing belief. So what do you need to do? I'm not asking you to lie, but there is a better way of saying it. For example, if somebody is asked, how's life? You can always say, it's getting better and better, or life is wonderful. I always tell people, if you're alive, that means life is wonderful. So what stops you from saying that? Somebody asks you, how's work? You can say, yes, there are a lot of challenges. However, it's progressing. I am progressing. So what do you need to do? Once again, consciously speak positive about your work, about the place that you live in, about your future, about your team members, about your boss, about your market, about your profession or the department that you are into. Like I've met a lot of salespeople. A lot of them continuously keep saying sales is a tough job. Now you cannot say this if you are a part of that profession, because through verbal programming, you are reinforcing that negative belief. Like I am into the profession of training, facilitating, coaching and doing therapies. I would never ever talk negative about this profession. That does not mean that this profession does not have challenges. But every time if I keep on saying that training is a tough job, therapies, are tough, or coaching is a tough job, I am reinforcing or I am creating a negative blueprint. And once negative, we all know the game that it would play. And hence, through your verbal programming, just to summarize for all of you, whenever you get an opportunity, speak positive about everything and everyone important. And wherever you go wrong, correct yourself so that through the medium of speaking, you start creating the right blueprint. The second part of verbal programming is what we hear. And what we hear is also contributing to our blueprint. Now, what we hear is not completely in our control. You cannot block all negativity that's coming into you. You've already picked up a lot from your childhood. Some positive, some negative. But what you can do is, wherever possible, avoid people who continuously bombard negative statements, pessimistic statements. And wherever possible, try to spend time with people who actually empower you with positive affirmations, positive statements, statements of hope, statements of positivity in all areas of your life. What you hear from television, what you hear from all other things in your environment is also contributing to your blueprint. So what you've got to do is consciously be aware of what you're hearing. Wherever possible, avoid negative talks and gossiping which are absolutely useless. And whenever you get an opportunity, spend time with people who actually enhance the hearing part of blueprint creation. The next medium through which the blueprint is formed and the medium through which you can change your blueprint is what you see. And that is why there is a very popular belief that seeing is believing. So what you see has a tremendous impact on your blueprint. That's the only reason even today, 20 to 30% of your beliefs are your parents' beliefs. That's exactly what you saw and you picked up from them. I do a lot of relationship therapies, and even today when a husband and wife comes for compatibility issues or if they have a lot of fights in their relationships, one important question that we ask them is, how was the relationship between your mother and father when you were a kid? Because that's a crucial information for a therapist. Because we would like to know whether you picked up the wrong blueprint about relationship by seeing your parents fighting. It's not about going back and blaming them, but it's about now understanding that whatever we are seeing on a regular basis is also impacting our blueprint. What do you see on television? What kind of people do you regularly meet? What are you focusing on a daily basis is creating your blueprint. So consciously, if you can ensure that you're watching wherever possible more of the positive side. Television, in fact, is a very powerful medium because it's a combination of what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and when it all is put together, it is hypnotic. For example, a lot of us have seen horror movies. And when you're watching a horror movie, there are moments when we get scared. Now tell me one thing, logically, is there a reason to get scared? The answer is no. But why do we still get scared? Because the combination of what you see with the sounds creates a hypnotic effect, and even the fake becomes real in the body, which means it has a direct impact on your blueprint. So be conscious of what you're seeing. Wherever possible, watch positive things only. You cannot avoid all negatives. What you can do is consciously look more at the positive side. In fact, if you've understood these 2 points, this can serve as a wonderful tip for parenting to create the right blueprint for your children. For example, your children don't just do what you ask them to do, but they do what you do. And if there is a complete confusion between what you tell them to do and what you do yourself, the blueprint itself is quite shaky in its nature. So if you would like to create, as a parent, the right blueprint about money for your children, you not only tell them how to make good amount of money, but you've got to demonstrate it yourself. You cannot be cribbing and complaining about money and telling your kid that you could make a lot of money. Same with to do with relationships. If you want your children to have the right blueprint about relationships, not only tell them beautiful things about relationship, but demonstrate it yourself. Let them see that relationships can be beautifully handled. The same is for health. You cannot be experiencing an unhealthy way of living and tell your kid to be healthy. You've got to tell your kid to be absolutely healthy and demonstrate a healthy way of living. If you want to create the right blueprint about life in your children, live life the way it's meant to be lived and show it to your children for them to create the right blueprint.